Right now, millions of Americans are about to miss a critical deadline that could cost them thousands of dollars in Social Security benefits. If you've been receiving Social Security and haven't taken action yet, you need to hear this immediately. The Social Security Administration has implemented new verification requirements that affect benefit payments, and November 1st marks a crucial cutoff date that many people simply don't know about. We're talking about potential payment delays, benefit holds, or even interruptions that could leave you without your expected $2,400 or more. What's happening is this. The SSA is requiring updated information from specific groups of beneficiaries to continue processing payments without interruption. This isn't a scam, and it's not optional. It's a real administrative change designed to prevent fraud and ensure benefits go to the right people. But here's the problem. The notification letters are easy to miss, the language is confusing, and the deadline is approaching fast. In the next few minutes, I'm going to walk you through exactly what you need to do, who this affects, and how to protect your benefits before it's too late. Let me be completely straight with you about what's going on here, because there's a lot of confusion out there, and frankly, the Social Security Administration hasn't done the best job of getting the word out to everyone who needs to hear it. So let's break this down in plain English, and I promise I'll explain everything you need to know without the government jargon that makes your head spin. First off, you need to understand that the Social Security Administration is in the middle of a massive push to verify beneficiary information, and this isn't something they're doing just for fun or to make your life difficult. Over the past few years, there's been a significant increase in fraud attempts, identity theft, and payment errors that have cost the system billions of dollars. Now, while that might sound like it's not your problem, it absolutely becomes your problem when the SSA decides to crack down and starts requiring additional verification from beneficiaries before they'll continue sending out checks. The November 1st deadline we're talking about specifically relates to beneficiaries who fall into certain categories, and you need to figure out right now if you're one of them. If you started receiving benefits within the last 18 months, if you've changed your address recently, if you're receiving benefits on behalf of someone else, or if you've had any changes to your banking information where your direct deposit goes, then you're probably on the list of people who need to take action. The SSA has been sending out letters, but here's the thing that's causing so much trouble. These letters look like junk mail. I'm serious. They come in plain envelopes, the formatting isn't great, and a lot of people are throwing them away thinking they're scams because we've all been told to be careful about Social Security scams, right? So people are actually throwing away legitimate correspondence from the government because they're trying to protect themselves from fraud, and then they end up in trouble because they didn't respond. Now let's talk about what happens if you miss this deadline, because I want you to understand the real consequences here. The Social Security Administration isn't going to just cut off your benefits completely on November 2nd, but what they will do is put a hold on your payments until you complete the verification process. That means if your regular payment is supposed to come on November 3rd or any time after that deadline and you haven't verified your information, that payment isn't going to show up in your bank account. Instead, you're going to have to go through a whole appeals and verification process that can take anywhere from 3 to 8 weeks to resolve. And during that time, you're not getting any money. Think about that for a second. If you're living on a fixed income and depending on that Social Security check to pay your rent, buy your groceries, pay for your medications, and cover all your other bills, going without that money for a month or two isn't just inconvenient, it's potentially devastating. The amount we're talking about, that $2,400, represents roughly the average benefit payment that retirees receive over the course of a month and a half to 2 months, depending on your specific benefit amount. Some of you might be getting more than that, some might be getting less, but the point is that we're talking about real money that you've earned through a lifetime of work, and you absolutely cannot afford to lose access to it because of a paperwork issue that you didn't know you needed to handle. So what exactly do you need to do? Well, the first step is to figure out if you're even affected by this requirement. The easiest way to do this is to go online to the official Social Security Administration website, which is ssa.gov, And I want to stress that you need to type that into your browser yourself. Don't click on links from emails or text messages because those could be scams. Once you're on the real SSA website, you need to create or log into your My Social Security account. I know some of you are thinking that you don't do computers or you don't trust putting your information online, and I get that. But the reality is that this is the fastest and most secure way to handle this situation. The My Social Security portal will show you if there are any pending actions you need to take, and it will walk you through the verification process step by step. When you log into your account, you're going to be looking for notifications or alerts that indicate you need to verify your identity or update your information. The system will tell you exactly what they need from you. In most cases, they're asking you to confirm your identity by providing information that matches what they have on file, and they might ask you to upload or mail in copies of certain documents. The documents they typically request include a current government-issued photo ID, like your driver's license or passport, proof of your current address, which could be a utility bill or bank statement from the last 60 days, and sometimes they want to see your Social Security card itself or documentation related to your benefits. Now, if you absolutely cannot or will not do this online, you have other options, but I'm warning you right now that these other options are going to take longer and require more effort on your part. You can call the Social Security Administration's main phone number, which is 1-800-772-1213, and talk to a representative who can help you through the verification process. But here's what you need to know about calling. The wait times are absolutely brutal right now. We're talking about being on hold for an hour or more, and that's if you can even get through. The lines are especially jammed during the first week of the month when everyone's calling about their payments. So if you're going to call, try to do it mid-morning on a Wednesday or Thursday in the middle of the month when the call volume is a bit lower. The other option is to go in person to your local Social Security office, and honestly, for some people, this might be the best choice. You can find your nearest office by going to the SSA website and using their office locator tool, or you can look it up in the phone book if you still have one of those. The advantage of going in person is that you're sitting down face-to-face with someone who can look at your documents, answer your questions immediately, and process your verification right there on the spot. The disadvantage is that Social Security offices are incredibly busy, and unless you have an appointment, you might be sitting there for several hours waiting your turn. My recommendation is to call ahead and try to schedule an appointment, bring all your documents with you, and plan to spend a good chunk of your day dealing with this because it's that important. Let me also address something that I know some of you are thinking, which is whether this is actually real or if this is some kind of scam that I'm talking about. I completely understand that skepticism because there are so many scams targeting Social Security recipients these days. People get phone calls from scammers pretending to be from Social Security, saying their benefits are going to be cut off unless they pay money or provide personal information immediately, and those are absolutely scams. But what we're talking about here is different. This is a legitimate administrative requirement from the Social Security Administration, and you can verify it's real by going directly to their official website or calling their official phone number. The key difference is that the real Social Security Administration will never call you out of the blue, demanding immediate payment or threatening to arrest you, and they'll never ask you to pay them with gift cards or wire transfers. The legitimate verification process I'm describing involves you proactively reaching out to them through official channels and providing documentation to prove you are who you say you are. Here's another critical piece of information that a lot of people don't realize. If you're married and both you and your spouse receive Social Security benefits, you both need to verify your information separately. The same goes if you're receiving benefits for a child or if you're a representative payee managing benefits for someone else. Each beneficiary account needs to be verified individually, so don't assume that if you take care of your verification, everyone in your household is covered. You need to check on each person's account separately and make sure that all required verifications are completed before the deadline. I also want to talk about what happens after you submit your verification information, because this is another area where people get confused and worried. Once you've provided the documents and information that the SSA requests, it typically takes about 5 to 10 business days for them to process everything and update your account. During this processing period, you might not see any changes in your online account, and that's normal. Don't panic if you don't get an immediate confirmation. However, what you should do is keep copies of everything you submit. If you mail documents, send them certified mail with return receipt so you have proof that they received them. If you upload documents online, take screenshots showing that your upload was successful. If you go in person, ask for a receipt or written confirmation that your verification was completed. This documentation is your insurance policy, in case something goes wrong or gets lost in the system. Now, let's talk about some special situations that might apply to you. If you recently moved and haven't updated your address with Social Security, this is absolutely critical that you do that immediately. When people move and don't update their address, the verification letters get sent to their old address and they never receive them, and then they miss the deadline without even knowing there was a deadline to miss. Updating your address is simple. You can do it online through your My Social Security account by phone or in person at a Social Security office. Don't delay on this if you've moved in the last year or two. If you recently changed banks or updated your direct deposit information, you're definitely going to be flagged for verification. The SSA is particularly careful about changes to banking information because that's one of the most common ways that fraud occurs. Someone steals your identity, changes your direct deposit to their bank account, and starts collecting your benefits. So when you legitimately change your banking information, expect that you're going to have to go through additional verification steps to prove that it was really you who made the change and not some criminal. This is actually a good thing because it's protecting your money, even though it's annoying to deal with. For those of you who are receiving disability benefits rather than retirement benefits, the same verification requirements apply, but there might be some additional steps involved. Disability beneficiaries sometimes need to provide updated medical documentation or information about their work activity in addition to the standard identity verification. If you're on disability, pay extra attention to any communications from Social Security and respond to everything they ask for, even if it seems like information they should already have. Here's something else that's really important. If you're receiving benefits based on someone else's work record, like if you're a widow or widower receiving survivor benefits, or if you're receiving benefits as a spouse, the verification requirements might be slightly different. You might need to provide documentation about your relationship to the primary worker, such as a marriage certificate or death certificate, in addition to your own identity documents. Make sure you understand exactly what's being requested in your specific situation. The bottom line here is that this isn't something you can ignore or put off until later. November 1st is coming up fast, and if you haven't already taken care of this verification requirement, you need to make it your top priority right now today. I'm not trying to scare you unnecessarily, but I am trying to impress upon you how serious this is and how much trouble you could be in if you miss this deadline. We're talking about your financial security, your ability to pay your bills and live your life, and that's not something to gamble with. So here's your action plan. As soon as you finish watching this video, you need to go to ssa.gov and check your My Social Security account to see if you have any pending verification requirements. If you don't have an online account yet, create one right now. If you can't or won't do the online route, pick up the phone and call 1-800-772-1213 today, or find your local Social Security office and plan to visit them this week. Don't wait until the last minute and don't assume that this doesn't apply to you. It's better to check and find out you're fine than to ignore it and end up with your benefits frozen. Take action today, protect your benefits, and make sure you're not one of the people who ends up in a financial crisis because of a missed deadline.